Hey party people, Kyle and Dean here. We're going to show you a little bit about guitar looping today, looping in general. So if you don't know what looping is, stay tuned. Might not be super step-by-step, might just be sort of train of thought, but hopefully you have a good time watching and you'll learn a little bit of something about looping. So here we go. Hey everybody out there at TV Land, this is Kyle here. I'm going to talk to you today about something near and dear to my heart, guitar, looping, and also my dog, because he's great. You hear that? You're great! Hey, go away. He's awesome. Cool, so we're going to be talking about looping today. And if you don't know what a looper is a piece of equipment like the one you see in the picture I'm probably going to put on the screen here. That's where my foot's right around there. And I have my guitar plugged into that thing down here. It's going in this little cable right there, and it's coming out of that one there, but it's going through this gray box. Oh, there's Dean again. And I have it going over to my mixer, and it's recording the audio into my computer. So there's some very complicated loopers out there, and there's some very basic ones. This one here is probably middle of the road, and there's 4 buttons you see, but I'm really only going to focus on this one button on the far left here. If I step on it, there's a light that turns red, and there's Dean again. So what happens when you step on that button and it turns red, it's recording my guitar, because my guitar is going in there, and I just played something and just recorded it. Now when I step on that button again, it's going to play exactly what I recorded over and over on a loop, and it will it'll keep doing that until I tell it to stop. And I actually do have a stop button right here, and I'll hit stop. Some loopers don't have a stop button. In that case, you'll have to do this move. I have the loop started right now, and if I want to stop it, I can double tap it with my foot. I don't really like that because I'm kind of bad at that, because I can't do it in tempo with music, but that's the way that it works sometimes. So here's a loop that we have made. It's saved. It's going to be playing over and over. And I'm pretty sure all loopers are like this. You can keep adding more on top of that. Here's a G chord. I'll play another G chord. Everything that I do is just going to keep adding onto this existing amount of time that it has recorded, with the exception of my voice. The microphone is not going into the looper, just my guitar is. Although, I could go like this. And maybe that, and you'll probably hear that. Alright, now I'm going to stop this now, and I'm going to erase it. I'm holding down this button here that says stop, and it's going to erase what we just did. So now I've got a clean slate. So there's just some of the basic stuff that you can do with a looper. You play something, and you can do it over and over and over again. I'll loop those chords from that song, and then we'll see what we can do. So now I got the chords going down from this song, and I could play the melody of the song as in performance, but I could also just use this as a practice tool, so I can practice playing other stuff. I could practice playing the melody. I could practice playing a guitar solo. Or I could grab a different instrument that I have laying around and I can practice that. Most often the way that I use a looper is to play songs. Lots of times I'll try to recreate a song the way that I hear it, but that's not possible all the time. So I'll just walk you through a little bit of some of the steps it takes to make the loop that you heard at the beginning of this video. So I got these chords that I need to play. Here's the background chords that I want to be happening in this loop. And ideally what I want to do is I want to try to loop about 1 or 2 measures of that. And we have it's a 2-chord repeat, so I have a D chord, and then I have a G chord, and by the time I get back to the D chord again, that's when I'm going to start my loop over. So I'm going to press record with my foot at the same exact time as I strum down, and ideally that'll both happen at the same time, and then I will step on the loop to play back what I've done at the start of the next D chord, the next repeat. So here I go, 1, 2, 3, 4. And ideally you get that and have it sound in time. I don't like that necessarily. Not too bad. I'll try one more time to get it better. I don't often use this looper anymore, so it's a little bit different, and I'm not wearing shoes either. That's a little bit different, but here, I'll try that again. 1 and 2, and here I go. And I just added another layer on top of that to try to smooth over that transition where the loop repeats. Still little hiccups, but it's not too bad. All right, here I go again. I'm going to try to get that a little bit nicer. 1, 2, here we go. Not too bad. So I'll stop that loop. So now we've got our chords looped down. So another thing you saw me do was lay down some rhythms by hitting the guitar. There's lots of places you can hit the guitar. Anything's going to sound pretty cool. You know, it's going to sound not like a guitar string. Up here, I even got some skateboard grip tape. That's pretty good shaker stuff. Here, hitting the strings with your hands, muting them. Not too bad. So I'll try a little bit of that. I'm going to overdub onto this loop. That. I'm going to add a little bit of bass. Not too bad. Then I'll add that shaker. Lots of times it's pretty cool to use a piece of paper. Let's see if I can do that. Not bad. Got that other melody that hangs up on top there, and I'll layer that in. Adding some different octaves. So there's some very nice, easy ways to make a really neat sounding loop that you can play around with. You could sing on top of that if you feel like, you could play your guitar more, play other instruments. Making a complete song with all sorts of different parts with one looper is very doable. Now, if I were going to try to make that loop into something that sounded like a song from start to finish, here's how I might go about doing that. I'd probably have the rhythm happening the whole time. 1 and 2, and here I go. And call that more. Now that's something that I could have going throughout the whole song, and I could just use my guitar to play the chords, because once the loop is down, I can't change it. I can just add more to it, and I can, and that's all I got. So in this case, I might just have the rhythm going the whole time, and I will use my guitar live to play all the different parts of the song, kind of like this maybe. Because in this song, there's different chords to the song. This. And there's a different section. That way I don't have some contradicting chords happening if I lay down those chords. Some loopers have the feature where you can undo a loop. Let's say I did loop a guitar part with this. Didn't like it, I'm going to hold down the loop button and it will erase, ideally, what I just did. And it worked! So that's a feature, and this particular looper will redo what I've undone if I hold the button down again. Here I go. So that could be a way that I could get these chords and I could play this. The next part of the song I might go like this, and I just undid that part. Now I'm going to redo it to go back to the verse. Not too bad. So even with just one, I mean, I know this is a very fancy type of looper, but I was kind of just using it as a very simple one-channel looper. And you can still get a lot of variety out of that, and I will be exploring that in some other videos. I'll see you soon. I need to go play with my dog.